Hi everybody, it's Gail, Shabby Cottage Studio. Welcome, welcome. If you're a new visitor or you're a returning visitor, I'm glad that you have stopped by. I have two small journals to share today, and these are made from some paper bags. They are approximately 4 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches, and there are 64 pages front and back in both little journals. They're so cute. And I really had a good time creating these. These are some paper bags, some floral paper bags that I found in an antique store we visited last week, and I was so inspired I came right home and started creating these journals. I originally thought I was just going to add them to a large journal, and by the time I got home it was like, nope, I'm going to make these their own little journal. So that's what I did. Both of these journals are, again, they're similar but different. Page layouts are different, images are different, but they're both constructed the same way, and they have similar items in them. They are a mix of authentic papers and digital papers. I will list the designers I used below. I do know that I used some papers from Roxy Creations. Rachel's got a beautiful new tall journal kit out, and I purchased one of those collections, and I think it was the journal background pages, but I'm not positive. I'll try to remember to list that in the description box below. But some of the items that I used were scraps, and my scraps, I'm sure like many of you, all go into bins or folders or however you store your scrap papers, and I lose track of which paper belongs to who. So my abject apologies to anyone that I may have not mentioned, and I do the best I can. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, let's go ahead and we'll go through one journal, and hopefully that will then allow me to go through the second journal much quicker since they are similar. I'm going to start with this one. I have left most of the pages blank. There's only a few pockets and a few journal cards, a couple journal cards. I think there's 2 journal cards in here, and then that's it. I left it mostly for you to decorate. Also, there's plenty of room for writing if that's what you choose to do. Like I said, I made this from a floral paper bag. This is the front and this is the back, so you can see the florals better. This is a new bag. It's not vintage. The background was white, and I aged it to give it a more vintage look. It has a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and then the sari ribbon tied on the side is purely for decoration. It is not binding the journal together. I added, for the closure, I added tabs and tied them with this vintage yarn that I have. And I did dip the ends of the yarn into glue so that they would be stiffer to thread through the eyelets, and also to keep them from fraying. I did take a ballet image, these whimsical ballerinas, and altered them. Sewed around the image, added them on top of some text book page, and some scrim that I dyed down here. Actually, it's not scrim, it was just fabric scrap. It was a white fabric scrap, and I dyed it this color and added a label. I did stitch all the way around the front cover, but not the back, because I wanted to leave one side open to use as a pocket, and if I had sewed the back, then it would have sewed the pocket closed. So let me untie this. My fingers are just so large for a lot of this little fiddly stuff, so excuse me while I struggle. It's really not difficult to untie, it's just me and my clumsy fingers. It is knotted on the back tablet, the back tab. It's not a tablet, Gail, it's a tab. Okay, so when you open it up, inside, this is the bottom of the bag, and I just made a small pocket out of it. this image, these beautiful swans, and I added some embossed paper at the bottom and some lace stained paper on the back for journaling. This beautiful image of this whimsical ballerina, and then added just a little chiffon rose, and put that image and the rose on top of a scrap paper. This, I believe, is from one of my kits, and this was a journal card actually that I used under this image that was from one of my Tall and Skinny kits, as is this one. And then there is some Braille paper. This is not vintage Braille paper. It is new Braille paper. It was very white. Again, I just tea stained it. This is some of Rachel's paper. This is a vintage French this is a page out of a vintage French book, vocabulary book, I believe. This is some more of Rachel's paper, and more of Rachel's paper. This is from an antique French book, and I just folded the bottom up and added this decorative paper on top. So first of all, the text was upside down, and sometimes I like that and sometimes I don't. In this case, I wanted to cover it up, and plus it gave the page more sturdiness. This page is made out of rag paper because it's, I believe it's 1700s this book is from. I've got 4 books that are very old, and so I don't always remember the exact dates, but it's 1700s, I believe. And then there's just a little French part of a document. I think that's early 1900s. And then this is more of Rachel's paper. This is an actual French script letter. And look at the writing. It's beautiful. I don't know what it says, but it's beautiful. And this was dated, actually this was from a letter, it wasn't a letter, it was a document. And I believe the date on it was 1607. Some more of Rachel's paper. Tea stained paper. This is from a vintage shorthand book. This is some more antique French rag paper. And then again, I folded the end over on the opposite side, folded it up to make a pocket. I added this beautiful image of roses, and then inside the pocket, and I did leave the pockets open, and the new owner can close them up if they like, but this is just a vintage French document. And then another pocket. This is the center of the journal, and so there's another pocket on this side. Dancing club type place, and a ticket to get in. This is the other side of the shorthand page. Tea-dyed paper. I guess most of the digitals in here are from Rachel at Roxy's Creation. Her new kit's beautiful, and I enjoyed using those papers. And I can see using those papers in a lot of different type of journals. I think they marry well with other styles, so I will probably be using those a lot more. This is just some faux age tape that I added to the bottom of this French letter / document. There's the other side of that antique French book, and then the pocket. And inside this one, I put a very small vintage envelope. It is empty, and it is dated 1937. It's going to someone in Paris. So I placed that in the pocket. This is the other side of that French book. This is the other side of the Braille paper. And then we've got the back of the journal. And I made a little tuck spot out of this image. I did back it with some cardstock so that it has some sturdiness. And then I've added this die cut that I stamped and embossed in gold. This is one of Lorna from Tailor Made Journal Stamps. I love her stamps. I'm waiting for her to do me a swan stamp. Lorna, if you visit, I want a swan stamp, girly girl. Okay. Silly me. And then here is the opening. See, the bag was not large. This was the opening of the bag, and I made a pocket out of it. And then I did tuck a journal card inside that I collaged on the front with some book page and some scraps, some of my watercolor doodles. This gorgeous image of this tutu. And then the back is ready for writing. So that is that journal. And then this one is basically the same. Same trim, different image, added a label, did the sewing around, 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and a sari ribbon tied on the binding. And this one, I think maybe when I tied a double knot, and I didn't mean to do that. Maybe that's my problem. Because this thing, I've tied this closed and open several times as I was testing things, and it wasn't a struggle for me to open it, so I may have just double knotted it for some silly reason. Anyway, it's got the tabs with the eyelets, and the inside, again, we have ballerina image, little chiffon rose, and then a journal card, image of swans, and it has been embossed, or I've added some embossing, some embossed paper to the bottom. And then we'll just go through the pages quickly, and it's, Braille paper, digitals, Roxy's paper. This one I did fold over for a little flip. You can make a pocket out of it if you like. This is a page out of that French book. Just some of my stained paper, digital. It's a little scrap, and I did a little collage on the back for writing, and here is another of that part of that French letter document, and some of the faux tape. French book page, French document, Roxy's paper, shorthand page, Roxy's paper. There's some washi tape I added to the French, antique French rag paper just to give it some sturdiness. And again, a pocket, and another one of those entree dancing tickets. And this one I applied, some of the Braille paper on top of the pocket, and it also has a very small envelope. And this one, this is how it came, so I didn't even glue it together. It's for whoever gets this. I'm sorry, I don't see a date on it, but I would say 1930s. Guess, just a guess. More digital paper. This is just a little fold out. Tea stain paper. There's another antique French book. This is the other part of the document that's in the first book, and I think it says I'm not sure, 1945, 1915, not exactly sure. but early 1900s. Another flip out. That's the other half of that letter. And then I just stamped on the back of this image. I laid down some vintage paper and stamped on it. More of Roxy's paper, more of my stained paper. There's that French, oh, that's what the book is from. French Anecdotes. Okay, well now we know. It's from a book of French anecdotes. And also has familiar phrases and idioms. Digital paper. The other side of the Braille paper. I love the texture on that. And then we get to the back. And we have another lovely tuck spot. And another die cut with, this is like a black glitter embossing. Can you see the shine on it? There, it's got a little shine. So that goes in that pocket, and then the journal card inside is another beautiful tutu. Some faux tape, little label, fussy cut flower, I believe that's chapter 1, and a label, and some more of watercolor doodles, and then just collaged the back for journaling. So that is the 2 small journals. When you see this video, they will be listed in my shop, and I hope you enjoyed the flip through. I've got a new digital kit coming out, and I'll do a quick video later and just kind of flip through the pages and show those to you. So for now, I'm just going to say again, thanks for visiting. I hope you all are doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.